Hi, I'm Todd Henderson. Today we're going to be installing the 5-inch premium oval from Ionic Automotive on this 2014 Chevy Crew Cab. Now this will fit a number of applications. For a complete list of applications, check the description below. All right, so we're going to find our first bracket location. This is on the driver's side all the way up to the front, just behind the frame cup where it has a body mount bolt. We're going to have on the pinch weld, there's going to be a welded nut. If there is no welded nut there, you're going to want to take a U-nut and then slide that over top of the hole in the pinch weld to where we have threads up on top. Directly above that welded nut, we're also going to have some threaded holes. What we're going to do is we're going to find our driver's side brackets. All three driver's side brackets are exactly the same, and the cradle is going to be facing towards the rear of the vehicle. We're going to set that in place where the U-shaped area is going to be up over top of the threaded holes, and then the tab underneath is going to be on top or underneath the welded nut. We're going to take a provided bolt with lock washer and flat washer and go right up through the bottom of the tab and thread that finger tight into that welded nut. Once we have that in place, we're going to take another bolt with lock washer and flat washer. We're going to thread that finger tight into the threaded hole up above. Back to the second bracket location, just like the first, we're going to have a welded nut. Up above there is a threaded hole. This is going to be just before you get to the second body mount bolt. And again, if you have no welded nut, you're going to want to slide a U-nut over top of the hole in the pinch weld where we have threads on top. And again, just like before, we're going to find our driver's side bracket, hold it all the way up against, and thread in finger tight the provided bolt with flat washer and lock washer. And again, bolt, lock washer, and flat washer into the threaded hole up at the top. And that one again, just finger tight. Now we're going to go all the way to the rear of the cab. We're going to find a hole, a large hole with a little small hole just to the side of it. Now this large hole might actually be covered up with a little plug, just like this one here. You want to pop that out and expose that large hole. This is going to be just before you get to the very last body mount bolt. What we're going to do, since we don't have any threads behind that hole, we're going to take our U-nut and slide it in, get it over top of that small hole through the large hole. It puts threads back behind it. Also, because in the pinch weld down below it, we just have a hole. We don't have a welded nut. We're going to slide another U-nut up on top of that to where we have threads on top of that. We're going to take our last driver's side bracket. We're going to use a provided bolt, lock washer, and flat washer. We're going to run it in, again, finger tight, up through the pinch weld. And again, we're going to take bolt, flat washer, and lock washer, go into the U-nut in the rocker panel as well. There again, just finger tight at this time. All right, now the passenger side bracket in the front is the only bracket that's going to be any different. What you're going to do again is find that welded nut. If you don't have a welded nut, no problem, we've got extra hardware for that. We're going to find the threaded hole up top. Now we're going to locate the top half of the passenger side bracket. We're going to line it up over top of the welded nut or hole if you don't have the welded nut there. We're going to take our provided bolt with lock washer and flat washer. We're going to thread it into the hole up at the top. Finger tight for right now. If we did not have a welded nut up on top, we would use this bolt plate to go down through that hole and hang down below the hole in the pinch weld. But since we have the welded nut, we don't have to worry about that. Next, we're going to take the other half of the bracket. This is the bottom portion. This hole needs to line up to this portion here, and this hole needs to line up underneath the pinch weld. It's going to kind of rock into place like so. Once that's in place, we're going to take a bolt with lock washer and flat washer and run it into that threaded nut on the top portion of the bracket. You put that on finger tight. that in place, we're going to go ahead and take another bolt with lock washer and flat washer, run it up through the bottom into the nut in the top half of the bracket. We'll put that on finger tight. Now, if we had the bolt plate hanging out, instead of using that bolt and lock washer, flat washer, we'll use this nylock to go over top of the bolt coming out. All right, so I've gone ahead and I've taken the driver's side board and I've placed it on top of the brackets. I've lined up the holes in the board up to the holes in the brackets. I'm going to take provided bolt with lock washer and flat washer and go up into the hole. I'm going to put these in finger tight on all of the brackets for just the time being. All right, now with all the bolts into the boards, we're gonna go ahead and tighten the brackets up to the boards using a 13 millimeter. Next, we're gonna use the same 13 millimeter, and we're gonna go ahead and tighten down the brackets to the body of the vehicle. Now let's repeat that same process on the passenger side. Well, that concludes the installation. If you have any questions, call the experts. We're here to help you out.